not a fact yet. That's the point. This is my point. Again,
the
off you go.
Media has done
off you go,
but
making a series of assumptions.
For as long, okay, all right. If you want to be smart, let me prove you wrong.
I'm not being smart. I'm just saying it's not a fact.
Wrong once again, this is Piers. I'm well versed in you by now. This is easy. Let me ask you a question. If there's an Islamic terror attack, like the London bombings, and then Abu Hamza, Mr. Hook, Captain Hook, he ends up going to jail for a very long time. He didn't blow anything up, but no, he was talking about how Islamic terror attacks should happen because he believes that people deserve them because of his personal worldview. He was instigating so that some idiot would listen to him with less brains than him and then go and murder. What is the difference between that and what the leftist mainstream media is doing by constantly demonizing white people constantly and endlessly?
Well,
there's always going to be some
you're raising,
who's mentally impaired
Allow me
on
to
some
respond.
level who's going to act upon
Allow me to respond.
We're locking up Islamic extremists for discussing violence against
Allow
people
me
who
to
are
respond.
not Muslim. We should also be locking up anybody who is demonizing an entire race, demonizing all of their history, and demonizing them to the point where they cannot get on a bus. They can't get on public transport without worrying about being murdered. And I have a future on this planet where I'm not here. There's a future on this planet where my white daughters exist and I am gone. And they will be victims and targets unless white people start standing up for themselves, standing up for their beliefs, and standing up for their nations. Because you're the only race which is being erased. You're the only one. Nobody is invading and erasing any other race. Only you white people. And you seem to sit there and wonder, oh, maybe it's not too bad. Maybe it's because of this. Maybe it's because of that. It doesn't matter. The world is tribal. You're not going to exist much longer if you don't stick up for yourselves. And you are clearly targets of an orchestrated campaign. There is a campaign which is designed to demoralize and eradicate you. And there are a few idiots who listen to this campaign and act on it savagely in real time on your public transport systems that you pay for with your taxes.
When you stop shouting.
Let me ask you a question, Pierce.
Well, why don't you just stop shouting for a moment and let me respond?
The majority of taxes to import white people who don't work to replace them? No other race on the planet would commit suicide to this level besides the white man. And I'm here to encourage the white man to stand up for himself.
Since you mentioned tax,
I understood what Andrew was coming from. There is no, I don't feel like people should censor your freedom of speech, right? However, then I look at the next video and it's like, Tate. Now do I believe that you should retaliate and hurt somebody because they say what they say? Absolutely not. I always believe that a good debate deserves a good debate, right? You talking, I got to come back, but it's through words should be fought with words, not something physical where people lose their life. Because you can always persuade people to think differently. You can't do that if they're not here anymore, right? So violence is never the answer. However, I do also believe that when people are putting things out about you, it is very much your responsibility to correct people with your words, nothing else. Does that make sense? And I wanted to show that because what are your thoughts on the video? Let me just say that. Let me shut up.
So you want thoughts on the actual video? No question to go along with it?
You can have questions, sure.
No, I didn't know if you had a tag question to go along with it.
No, so the point in the video was we just got done saying there should be a freedom of speech, right? But what happens when that freedom of speech directly is like going against you, right? Because I think that people do feel attacked, but I will be one to say when people attack or say something that maybe you don't like, you say it with words. You don't go back and say it. You do something about it in any other way besides show them. Show them like not show them because that can mean several different things. Like speak, rebuttal, something of that nature. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
or somebody cancel them.
Well, it's hard to cancel somebody like that because they're great for ratings. People tune in, people watch. That's why he's called on several platforms to speak. But the question that I have when I'm listening to that particular segment that you just played, would he say that? And I maybe he would, maybe he wouldn't. But would he say that in the presence of a True, or the presence of an AP, or in the presence of somebody that's willing to knock him on his ass, right? Because sometimes, shit, you're going to be met with violence by the way you speak.
But
That
we've been
right there
saying
was,
it all
like,
night.
his language on purpose was incendiary. Like, he meant for it to be incendiary. And when people are asking for it, sometimes they got to get it. Like that, and that kind of goes back to what True was talking about when Don mentioned about conversing with women. Is we know as men, Tate and I are having a conversation, and he uses language like that. He already knows he's intentionally escalating. He's intentionally escalating. But the difference with when we're watching a clip, he has protection from the screen. He has protection from wherever he is locally. Like all of these protections are in place, which is why I question, would you have said it, like, even if you really actually thought it? I'm not 100% sure he thinks it, but maybe he does. Would he have said that in the presence of Mike Tyson? Would he have done it? And I doubt it. I seriously doubt it. He meant to be incendiary there. And that kind of language gets your ass whooped or gets you murked in some way.
Well, that's why I think this is part of the problem with the social media generation anyway, is that you can be a keyboard bully. You can be a mic bully because you are protected, right? I can say, like you said, the most, like, sensationalized things, knowing that it's going to, like, agitate and get people angry, but I don't have to necessarily reap the consequences of that because I'm saying it on a screen. You don't know where I live. Not that you can't find out nowadays, but I think that has led to a lot of the way people are talking when you're saying, oh, we could, freedom of speech, and they go ham on the way that they're talking to people, interacting with people. But I also think that that's part of why I was saying, in terms of censoring it or having limitations for kids to have access to this, because kids are going to see this and think that this is what happens in real life. They apply these same things that they see in real life, and then they go and try to do that to somebody and talk that way, and situations happen. So yeah, they learn. Like, I might not say that after they get beat up, but because everything is so extreme, kids aren't even really fighting like we used to. You know what I'm saying? 3 o'clock, let's go. They're stabbing, they're shooting each other, they're jumping each other. They're like, I remember Shan said something happened in her school where she saw them kick a dude in the head or something like that, like getting jumped. So, yeah. So I think in anything that you do would have consequences. It could be good consequences or bad consequences. And in this environment with how much negativity is spewing, a lot of those consequences have been ending badly. You understand what I'm saying? So, that's, for me, that's the conundrum with the freedom of speech, is that yes, it should be allowed, but at the same time, the consequences that come along with it don't just impact the individuals who are saying the speech. Well, it impacts other people. It impacts kids who are innocent, they get caught in I say crossfire, because they're watching this and think that this is okay because they see adults behaving like that. And then, yeah, I think for me, the biggest thing is the kids who were seeing this, because they grow up as adults doing what they saw.
But like, to use some of the examples, like Di earlier said, storming the Capitol. I tend to agree that, was that necessary? Did y'all really have to do that? Was your voices not being heard out on the front lawn? What are we doing?
Imagine women have to be in their marriages like this. Men police women delivery all the time. I feel like men just going crazy because it's men trying to do it to each other. But
you choose violence every time.
Not gonna do it.
Violence every time.
Not gonna do that. You know what I appreciate about
being?
Y'all
won't be able to perform, think right, heart gonna be hurt, ego to the crown, crushed dust. We could have washed the dirty drawers yesterday, and we could have cleaned the house from head to toe. But don't let us say the wrong thing. Oh, the relationship is done.
You was doing so well.
No, Di has a pretty decent point there, because you guys always say women with your tongue, a woman's tongue.
I'm choosing peace.
Y'all all was doing really well.
Di came with this tonight.
Yeah, she choosing.
Do they not tell us all the time? Watch how you say this, and if you say this,
that might
tell you. Your mouth, and he might slap you. I'm just saying, if your husband slaps you because you got a smart mouth,
that might be why the UAE is so safe.
Ain't no fun with
exactly. Let me explain to you why, so that I don't want to insult your intelligence. I believe AP may be able to back me up on this. There's rules of engagement. If I'm talking to AP as man to man, we understand. There's just certain things that if I use certain vernacular, it may invoke aggression. Women don't have these rules, generally speaking. That's the issue. So when we say watch your mouth, it's because we cannot respond the way we are wired to respond. We need to arrive at a point to where we can converse that it is fruitful for both of us. But if you know you're going to minimize me or attack my masculinity or attack my inadequacies, you're bullying me, and I'm left to be arrested and where I cannot.
But that's censoring. But isn't this all what it's all about?
No, that's education. That's not censorship. That's education. That actually makes you more fruitful. It makes you actually know how to move throughout the world, because this is a universal rule. It's just like the same way we were probably
want to like y'all try to threaten our intelligence and then get mad. Self-defense is common sense, okay? It's not that I'm getting masculine. It's just I was taught how to defend myself when my intelligence is threatened.
But
it's not stupidity, it's not masculinity, but don't mistake look, it's not stupidity. Like I have no stupidity in me at all.
Sometimes go ahead, True.
No, I'm not gonna be. I'm gonna be honest real quick. I'm gonna be honest real quick with you, True. I did try to bait you into this conversation because me and my dad had this conversation earlier, and he gave me some great analogies, but I'm pretty sure I just effed them all up right now, just trying to go there.
I appreciate the honesty.
But I mean, it raises a good point, right? So when Sister is going to go take us into our next video, I find that, and I won't even, I'm gonna hold my tongue until the next video, if I remember, because y'all know I got ADD, so I'll easily forget. But to go by what Andrew Tate said, I absolutely get some of the things. You know what? Let me play the next video and circle back. Okay. Yeah, I can't see, so I had to.